Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever pushed through a workout feeling completely drained, more than just the usual muscle fatigue?
Yeah.
Maybe you were sluggish, your brain felt foggy, or you found yourself wondering, did I drink enough?
Right. That feeling.
Or perhaps you've heard all the buzz about hydration, but you're still not quite sure what it really means for you when you're moving your body, pushing your limits.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise out there.
Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into a topic that is absolutely fundamental for everyone, from the casual jogger to the dedicated weekend warrior, right up to the elite athlete.
Hmm.
We're talking about the profound and often underestimated importance of hydration during exercise. This isn't just about feeling good, you know?
Not at all.
It's about unlocking your best performance, safeguarding your health, and even playing a critical role in preventing injuries.
And what's truly fascinating here is that while the general concept of hydration feels, well, intuitive,
Sure, drink water.
right, but the specific why and how are often shrouded in common misconceptions and, honestly, a surprising lack of detailed understanding sometimes.
Okay.
So we've taken a stack of your questions and sources, and we've really dived deep into the research, the articles, the expert notes.
Mhm.
Our mission for this deep dive is to cut through that noise, to extract those essential nuggets of knowledge, debunk common myths, and crucially, arm you with practical, actionable strategies.
So people can actually use this stuff.
Exactly. We want you to walk away from this deep dive truly well-informed on this vital topic,
Yeah.
ready to optimize your own hydration strategy.
Absolutely. Throughout this deep dive, we're going to pull back the curtain on what precisely happens inside your body when it needs water.
That internal cascade.
Yeah. We'll explore the incredible, often unsung science behind Sweat Your Body's personal air conditioner.
Such an amazing process.
Then we'll dive into the best practical ways to stay on top of your fluid intake, cutting through the confusion around sports drinks and
And
electrolytes.
that's a big one. When
Yeah.
are they helpful?
Right. When are they just sugary drinks? We'll even look at specific hydration considerations for different exercise environments, like hot or cold condition,
Very different needs.
and how elite athletes manage their needs, asking whether those strategies are relevant for, well, for the rest of us.
Good question.
Get ready to rethink your water bottle strategy entirely.
The critical cascade. What happens when your body needs water?
Let's start with the absolute foundation, because this is where the entire conversation about performance and safety really begins.
Okay.
Our sources emphasize that hydration isn't merely a health tip or a suggestion. It is, quite literally, a cornerstone of athletic performance and overall well-being.
It underpins everything.
Proper hydration plays a vital proactive role in preventing injuries. Think of it this way. Fluids are the grease in the gears, the coolant in the engine.
Great analogy.
Without them, your body simply cannot function at its best, and your performance in any sport or exercise will not be as good as it could be.
You're leaving performance on the table.
And here's the kicker. The impact of even mild dehydration becomes exponentially worse in hot conditions, magnifying every single challenge your body faces.
Exactly. When we talk about optimizing performance and safeguarding health, water is the fundamental building block. Your body, as we know, is approximately 60% water.
60%.
And this isn't just a fun fact. It underpins a myriad of essential biological functions. Water is critical for maintaining your core body temperature, ensuring that vital nutrients are transported efficiently to your cells.
Like delivering the fuel.
Precisely.
Ah.
And effectively removing waste products, balancing crucial pH levels within your body. Now, when you enter a state of hypohydration,
Just means low water, right?
simply when the total water in your body falls below its normal healthy level, your body loses its ability to properly regulate heat.
Oh, wow.
This seemingly simple deficit sets off a complex and honestly dangerous cascade of physiological challenges.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, in real time? How do you know if you're hitting that critical point where your body is beginning to struggle?
Yeah, what are the signs?
Let's talk about the warning signs of dehydration, moving from the subtle early signals to the potentially dangerous and life-threatening consequences. We've all heard the common adage that feeling thirsty means you need water.
The classic advice.
But here's a crucial myth to debunk right up front. If you're feeling thirsty, you're likely already behind the curve.
Mm-hmm. You're already playing catch up.
Your body is already signaling a deficit, meaning you're probably already dehydrated or at least significantly missing the mark. Our sources clearly highlight that thirst and a dry mouth are early indicators, but by the time they kick in.
Your performance is likely already compromised.
Exactly. Beyond thirst, you might experience a pervasive fatigue that feels deeper than typical muscle tiredness.
Like hitting a wall sooner than expected.
Yeah, manifesting as a struggle to maintain your pace, a general sense of muscle weakness, or just feeling more wiped out than usual. And for athletes, a noticeable drop in running speed or overall athletic performance is one of the clearest signs.
And as dehydration progresses, those early physiological impacts become significantly more pronounced and serious. Your body's internal struggle intensifies, moving from subtle signals to more severe functional impairments.
Okay, so what happens next?
For instance, your cardiovascular system takes a significant hit. As your blood volume decreases due to fluid loss, your heart has to work much harder to pump the same amount of blood around your body.
Wow.
This leads to an increased heart rate and a rise in core body temperature. Our sources note that dehydration markedly impairs cardiovascular function in endurance athletes.
Making it harder to keep going.
Definitely. It causes reduced cardiac output, meaning your heart pumps less blood with each beat, and increased systemic and cutaneous, or skin, vascular resistance.
So the pipes get narrower, essentially?
That's a good way to put it. It's harder for blood to flow where it needs to go, and this is a critical point. Blood flow to your working muscles might take precedence over the crucial process of temperature regulation.
Oh, so you prioritize muscle work over cooling down.
The body makes a tough choice, leading to potentially dangerous heat buildup. Furthermore, hypohydration affects arterial stiffness, making your blood vessels less flexible, and can increase blood pressure variability.
Which isn't good long term.
No, both are associated with cardiovascular morbidities, essentially signs of strain on your heart and circulation.
That sounds incredibly intense and puts a lot of strain on the body. What about the body's primary way of cooling itself? Does dehydration compromise that too?
Absolutely. Thermoregulation impairment is a major concern. Your body temperature can rise because your body simply can't properly regulate heat.
So the internal thermostat is broken.
In a way, yes. This can even manifest as a surprising lack of sweat during vigorous activity, especially when you expect to be drenched.
That sounds counterintuitive.
It is, but it's a critical red flag, signaling you're not only dehydrated, but potentially heading towards heat exhaustion.
Wow.
Research shows that even mild hypohydration, as little as a 1–3% loss in body mass, significantly impair cutaneous vasodilation, or skin blood flow, during exercise in the heat.
So less blood flow to the skin means less cooling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It directly affects your ability to dissipate heat. Beyond the purely physical, there are profound neurological and cognitive effects.
Like brain fog.
Very much so. You might experience an impaired ability to think clearly, impacting everything from fine motor control to critical decision-making abilities and concentration.
It's huge for sport.
Huge. This extends to a worsened mood, an increase in feelings of fatigue, tension, and anxiety, noticeably slower reaction times, decreased alertness, and even increased brain activity related to painful stimuli.
So things actually feel more painful.
Potentially, yes. Studies indicate that even mild dehydration, a mere 1–2% body mass loss, can negatively influence mood and impair working memory and attention in complex tasks.
Imagine trying to solve a puzzle or make a split-second decision.
Exactly. When your brain is struggling for water, that's the impact we're talking about.
And what about those nagging muscle issues that often crop up, or that uncomfortable feeling in your stomach?
Prolonged dehydration can absolutely lead to the onset of cramping throughout various muscle groups.
The dreaded cramp?
Indeed. Our sources also note that dehydration weakens muscles and makes them more inflamed, which of course increases your susceptibility to injury.
Makes sense. Weakened muscles are prone to strains.
Precisely. As for your gut, your body's functions, including gastric emptying, the process by which food leaves your stomach may slow down significantly.
Ugh, so that sloshing feeling.
It can certainly make you feel uncomfortable, bloated, or even nauseous during or after exercise.
So we've walked through the mild and moderate signs. But what happens if you ignore these signals? It can get much, much more severe, right? Potentially life-threatening consequences.
Absolutely. At the severe life-threatening end of the spectrum, we see the progression of heat injury.
Okay.
This ranges from mild heat cramps, often the first sign, to the more serious heat exhaustion, and finally, the life-threatening heat stroke.
And heat stroke is a major emergency.
A true medical emergency requiring immediate 911 intervention, while heat exhaustion warrants an urgent trip to the emergency room.
Got it.
Another incredibly serious consequence is seizures. A state of severe dehydration is strongly associated with electrolyte abnormalities.
Those salts and minerals we hear about.
Exactly. Think of your cells as tiny batteries, and electrolytes like potassium and sodium as the wires carrying the electric charge.
Okay.
If those wires are messed up because your salt levels are out of balance, the electrical signals between cells get scrambled.
Leading to misfiring.
Yes, leading to misfiring, involuntary muscle contractions, or even loss of consciousness. Individuals with pre-existing seizure disorders are particularly vulnerable.
That's incredibly serious, highlighting how fundamentally important electrolytes are. What about the kidneys or the long-term impact of repeated dehydration?
Severe or even repeated mild bouts of dehydration can cause a buildup of wastes and acids in the body.
Taxing the system.
Very much so. When muscles break down from intense exercise, they release a protein called myoglobin. Now, while kidneys are responsible for removing myoglobin from the blood, an excess due to dehydration can overwhelm them, leading to kidney damage and even acute kidney failure.
That sounds awful.
It is. A very specific and alarming sign to watch for here is cola-colored urine,
Cola-colored, wow.
which can indicate exertional rhabdomyolysis, a severe muscle breakdown from intense exercise, and necessitates seeing a medical provider immediately.
Good to know that sign.
In the most critical, though thankfully rare cases, severe dehydration can progress to hypovolemic shock.
What's that?
This is a life-threatening condition resulting from losing more than 20% of the body's blood or fluid supply.
20%.
Yes. The severe loss compromises the heart's ability to pump sufficient blood around the body, potentially leading to widespread organ damage and, tragically, death. This is why vigilance is so important.
Okay, so this brings us to a number I've heard thrown around. The 2% threshold. What's the significance of that?
This is a crucial, widely accepted metric in athletic performance and safety. Our sources, notably from leading organizations like the American College of Sports Medicine, ACSM, and the National Athletic Trainers Association, NATA, big players, right? They consistently cite a 2% loss in body weight as the standard metric where noticeable performance decrements often begin in sport.
So just 2% body weight loss through a fluid.
Correct. It's not just a theoretical number. It's a measurable point where your body starts to struggle to perform optimally.
Right.
Beyond this 2% mark, performance continues to decrease even further.
Okay.
And this is when safety concerns begin to emerge more prominently. And if an athlete reaches beyond a 10% body weight loss,
10%.
that necessitates much closer monitoring due to the severe, potentially life-threatening risks involved, as we've just discussed.
So that 2% loss isn't just a number on a scale. It's a direct indicator that your performance is already taking a hit.
Precisely.
Our sources reveal that even a 2% dehydration level can reduce your aerobic performance by a significant margin, up to 10%. 10% is huge in competition.
It really is. And here's the surprising truth for athletes. Research consistently shows that hypohydration significantly reduces strength by approximately 2%, power output by approximately 3%, and high-intensity endurance by about 10%.
So it hits everything. Strength, power, endurance.
Everything. To put that into perspective, a meta-analysis specifically demonstrated that muscle strength could fall by 5.5%, and anaerobic power, think about those explosive short bursts of energy, by 5.8%.
Wow.
There's a direct and undeniable connection between body water deficits, even around 2.9% of body mass, and an athlete's ability to generate upper and lower body anaerobic power.
So that jump shot, that sprint, it's all affected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the key takeaway here is clear. Don't wait until you feel completely dehydrated. Even a seemingly small dip in hydration, just a couple of percentage points of your body weight, has a disproportionately large impact on your physical output. That 2% isn't just a number. It's your performance ceiling shrinking.
Sweat, our unsung hero, and how we measure fluid loss. All right, let's turn our attention to something most of us try to wipe away and forget. Sweat.
The stuff we try to hide.
For many, it's just a sweaty, uncomfortable byproduct of intense exercise, maybe even a nuisance. But our sources are crystal clear. Sweat isn't just a nuisance.
It's a superstar, really.
It's your body's primary, incredibly sophisticated air conditioner. The evaporation of sweat is the dominant, most efficient avenue of heat loss during exercise, especially in warm conditions.
Absolutely critical.
Here's how brilliant your body is. It efficiently transfers heat from your core to the water, or sweat, on your skin.
Moving the heat outwards.
Right. When this water gains sufficient heat, it undergoes a phase change, converting to water vapor, thereby literally carrying a substantial amount of heat away from your body.
Like tiny little steam engines cooling you down.
Exactly. We're talking about approximately 580 kilocalories of heat removed per kilogram of evaporated sweat. That's an incredibly powerful and efficient cooling system, constantly working to keep you from overheating.
It truly is a marvel of biological engineering. The mechanism behind this is quite remarkable and begins deep within your muscles.
Okay.
When you're exercising, contracting muscles produce a significant amount of heat, which naturally increases your core body temperature. Specialized thermoreceptors throughout your body sense this rise.
Little heat detectors.
Exactly. They signal your brain to stimulate the eccrine sweat glands. These are the primary glands responsible for thermoregulation, and they're incredibly numerous. You have about 2 to 3 million of them,
Wow.
fixed in place by the time you're just 2 or 3 years old, distributed across most of your body surface. Alongside sweating, your body also stimulates cutaneous vasodilation.
Which is widening blood vessels in the skin.
Correct, allowing more warm blood to flow closer to the surface to dissipate heat. Now, it's crucial to understand that the sweating rate and the concentration of electrolytes in your sweat can vary considerably.
Not everyone sweats the same.
Not at all. Not just between different individuals, but even within the same person, depending on the day. This variability is influenced by many factors: your body size, the intensity and duration of your exercise, the environmental conditions like temperature and humidity, and even the types of clothing you're wearing.
Makes sense.
For instance, real-world data from track and field athletes shows sweat rates can range dramatically, from a low of 0.5 liters to a high of 3.0 liters per hour.
3 liters an hour. That's a huge amount of fluid.
It's a massive difference, highlighting that huge individual variability.
So if sweating is our body's primary cooling system, then intuitively more sweat should always be better for staying cool, right?
That's a common and logical assumption, but here's where the nuance and the critical understanding come in.
Okay, that's the catch.
Our sources reveal that while more sweat generally does mean more heat dissipation, hypohydration, that state of being dehydrated, is actually associated with reduced or even unchanged sweating rates at a given metabolic rate during exercise in the heat.
Wait, so being dehydrated makes you sweat less?
It can, yes. Think about that. When you're dehydrated, your body's sweating rate is lower for a given core temperature, effectively crippling its primary cooling mechanism.
That seems backward.
It does, but it's the body trying to conserve fluid. This directly reduces your potential for heat dissipation through sweat evaporation. Furthermore, dehydration increases the threshold temperature at which thermoregulatory sweating even begins.
So you have to get hotter before you start sweating.
Essentially, yes. It's as if your internal thermostat gets set higher before your body decides it's hot enough to sweat. This reduced sweating response is mediated by 2 key physiological changes: plasma hyperosmolality,
Which is more concentrated blood.
increased concentration of solutes, like salts, in your blood plasma, yes, and plasma hypovolemia, which is simply reduced blood volume.
Got it.
In essence, your body's trying to conserve fluids because it senses a shortage, but in doing so, it ironically compromises its ability to cool itself effectively, leading to that dangerous heat buildup we discussed earlier.
So it's like a self-sabotaging survival mechanism if you don't stay hydrated.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
So if thirst isn't the best, most timely indicator of hydration, what are some truly reliable and practical ways to actually assess your hydration status, especially when you're out there exercising?
Good question. We need better tools.
We can't all have a mobile lab assistant with us at the gym or on the trail, right?
Exactly. Relying on thirst alone means you're always playing catch-up, which is not ideal for performance or safety. Thankfully, our sources present 2 highly practical and reliable methods that you can use yourself.
Okay, let's hear them.
The first are urine color charts. The concept is wonderfully straightforward. If your urine is pale and clear like straw or lemonade, it means you're well hydrated.
Pale is good.
Generally, yes. The darker it is, think apple juice or even cola, the more fluid you urgently need to drink. Your urine naturally carries a yellow pigment called urochrome.
The body's natural dye.
Think of it that way. The more water you drink, the more this pigment gets diluted, leading to paler pee. It's crucial to use validated urine color charts, like Armstrong's 8-color chart or Wardner's simpler 3-color lavatory chart.
There are actual charts for this.
Oh yes, scientifically validated ones. And it's important to follow the correct collection method for accuracy. For instance, Armstrong's chart is designed for urine collected in a transparent cup, not when assessed directly from the toilet bowl.
Because the toilet water dilutes it or the bowl color interferes?
Exactly. Environmental light or the color of the bowl can skew your perception.
That makes a lot of sense about the method. But can anything else besides your hydration level throw off these urine color readings? Like, what if I had a big bowl of beets for dinner or take vitamins?
That's a perceptive question, and yes, definitely. Our sources point out several factors that can indeed influence urine color, potentially making charts less accurate if not considered.
Okay, like what?
This includes the environmental light, where you're assessing the sample, the specific collection time and method, and even the quality of printer ink if you're using a physical chart, or how varying digital screens display colors.
Right, the screen calibration.
Exactly. Your individual physiological factors, such as age and amount of muscle mass, can also influence urine color. Generally, older individuals and those with more muscle mass might have slightly darker urine due to metabolic byproducts.
Interesting.
But crucially, your diet and supplements can significantly alter urine color. For example, B vitamins are notorious for leading to bright, almost neon yellow urine.
I've seen that.
Right? It's harmless, but can make you think you're overhydrated when you're not. And yes, beet consumption can indeed cause a reddish or darker urine.
Good to know.
And in more serious cases, as we touched on earlier, medical conditions like exertional rhabdomyolysis can cause alarming cola-colored urine, which absolutely necessitates immediate medical attention, irrespective of your hydration levels.
Okay, so use the chart as a guide, but be aware of other factors.
Precisely. It's a tool, not an absolute diagnosis.
What's the second method you mentioned?
Beyond urine color, the second fantastic solution for assessing hydration is simply tracking your body weight change.
Drawing yourself.
Yes. It's both simple and non-invasive, and it can provide a remarkably good approximation of your total fluid loss. The method is often called relative hydration change.
Okay.
By measuring your weight before and after a specific time period, for example, a training session, a long run, or a competition, you can quite accurately assess the degree of fluid loss and, by extension, your level of dehydration.
So way before, way after, see the difference.
Exactly. The common rule of thumb for post-exercise fluid replacement is beautifully simple. Drink 2 cups of fluids to replace every pound of body weight lost during physical activity,
2 cups per pound lost. That's easy to remember.
or roughly 1 liter per kilogram lost if you use metric. So if you weigh yourself before and after a workout and you've dropped 2 pounds, you know you need about 4 cups of fluid to rehydrate optimally.
This sounds like a really practical and precise method, especially for serious athletes. But are there any challenges with implementing it consistently in real-world settings, beyond just individual use, like for a whole team?
You've hit on a key point. Our sources highlight some very real practical challenges, especially in high-volume environments like collegiate sports locker rooms, for example, a football team.
I can imagine the lineup for the scale.
Exactly. While weigh-ins are quick and simple in concept, they can become time-consuming due to the need for multiple scales, dedicated staff members to record values, all while trying to account for fluid intake during the session, bathroom breaks, and even the weight of clothing or equipment.
Lots of variables.
A study conducted on collegiate track and field throwers revealed a significant disconnect. A remarkable 95.3% knew about urine color charts, and a respectable 63.4% knew about the body weight method.
So they knew about it.
Yes, but a disheartening small fraction, just 9.8%, actually used the body weight method consistently.
Wow. Why the drop-off?
It's also concerning that many athletic trainers themselves, despite recommendations from leading organizations like NADA and ACSM, don't consistently use weight charts.
So even the pros aren't always using it.
Sometimes not. It points to a gap between scientific recommendation and practical application, likely due to those logistical hurdles or maybe perceived inconvenience.
So how can teams or individuals overcome those hurdles? Because it sounds like a really valuable tool.
You're right, the gap between knowing and doing is crucial here. Despite these logistical challenges, it's absolutely vital to advocate for using weight charts, given their undeniable benefits.
Like what?
They are non-invasive, field-friendly, and provide quick, quantifiable data. For best practices in a team or regular training setting, it's recommended to use a digital scale with a screen separate from the weighing apparatus to ensure athlete privacy.
Okay, privacy is important.
Very. It's also critical to establish a reliable baseline by averaging 3 days of hydrated first morning weights. Athletes should wear minimal clothing, like a sports bra and shorts, and towel off any sweat before measurements to ensure accuracy.
Consistency in method.
Yes. Using kilograms for calculations can also speed up the process, as 1 kilogram of body weight loss typically equates to 1 liter of fluid loss. It's also important to use these charts for the entire season, including preseason conditioning.
Not just during the hot months.
or at least for the first 14 days of warm or hot weather when the risk of exertional heat illness is highest as bodies are still adapting.
Good point.
Addressing the concern about athletes potentially fabricating results if they fear missing practices or games.
Ah, that's a real issue.
It can be. It's suggested that staff or athletic training students should record weights while ensuring privacy measures are in place. This helps ensure accurate, reliable data collection without disincentivizing participation or honesty.
Makes sense.
Ultimately, the simplicity and effectiveness of this method, when implemented correctly, far outweigh the perceived challenges.
The hydration playbook rules of thumb for every athlete.
So we've firmly established why hydration is so vital for performance and health, and we've learned how to measure your hydration status. Now let's transition into the practical side. What are the concrete, actionable rules of thumb for staying optimally hydrated every single day, and especially around your exercise sessions?
Okay, the how-to.
First, let's set the baseline for daily hydration, extending beyond just your workout. Our sources indicate that the general recommendation for daily fluid intake, from all sources, including the food you eat and the beverages you drink.
Food counts too.
Yes. It's approximately 9 cups for women and 13 cups for men.
That's about 2.1 to 2.6 liters for adults.
Right. And interestingly, our sources tell us that about 20% of your daily fluid intake typically comes from foods, especially water-rich fruits and vegetables like watermelon, oranges, or cucumbers,
Celery, lettuce, lots of water there.
with the remaining 80% coming from beverages. So your diet contributes more than you might think.
That's a great point about food's contribution. And to clarify further, our sources confirm that indeed all fluids can count towards your daily total, even those from seemingly less conventional sources like tea and coffee.
Wait, coffee counts. Doesn't it dehydrate you?
That's a common myth. In moderation, the water in coffee and tea contributes more to hydration than the mild diuretic effect takes away for most people.
Oh, okay.
Good to know. However, they consistently emphasize the importance of limiting beverages with added sugars and, of course, alcohol due to their other health implications.
Right, stick mostly to water.
Primarily, it's important to understand that your body has a remarkable water reserve and a good degree of flexibility to cope with short-term challenges. If you miss a little fluid intake at one point, your body is usually quite efficient at catching up later in the day.
It's resilient.
Very. However, consistency is key. Consistent, intentional daily hydration is fundamental for overall well-being, not just when you're working out. It supports all those core bodily functions we discussed.
Now let's break down the critical timing of hydration, specifically for exercise. Our sources are very clear on this. You need to proactively drink fluids before, during, and after any physical activity.
The 3 key phases.
Let's start with before your workout. It's absolutely crucial to begin your activity in a well-hydrated state. Don't start in a deficit.
Set yourself up for success.
For runners, specifically, a common recommendation is to drink around 200 milliliters or about 7 ounces of water 1 hour before setting out on a run.
A small glass or so.
More broadly, other guidelines suggest a larger amount, approximately 503 to 591 milliliters, or about 17-20 ounces, a couple hours before competition.
Give it time to absorb.
And then another 207 to 295 milliliters, about 7-10 ounces, just 10 to 20 minutes before you start.
A final top-off.
The goal here is to top off your fluid reserves without feeling sloshy or overly full.
Then comes the during phase of your activity, which is all about consistent intake to match your fluid losses as best you can.
Sipping strategy.
Exactly. The advice is simple. Keep a bottle of water with you and take water breaks every 10 to 15 minutes.
Even if you don't feel thirsty yet.
Especially if you don't feel thirsty yet. For those running in hot conditions where perspiration rates are significantly increased, fluids should be taken at regular, frequent 15-20-minute intervals.
More often in the heat.
Definitely. Don't wait until you're parched. You should be sure to sip water at regular intervals while running, or as soon as you feel even the slightest hint of thirst. Proactive, consistent sipping is far more effective than trying to chug large amounts all at once.
And what about after your workout when your body is starting the recovery process? How important is rehydrating then?
Critically important. Our sources advise that once your run or workout is over, you need to replace the fluid loss by drinking fluids equal to the amount of weight you've lost through sweat over the course of the activity.
Back to the weighing method.
It's the most accurate way. Remember that golden rule of thumb we mentioned earlier from the body weight change method? Drink 2 cups of fluids to replace every pound of body weight lost during physical activity, or 1 to 1.5 liters for every kilogram lost, to be more precise, for full rehydration.
Got it.
This direct connection between the weight you've shed and the fluid you need to consume is absolutely key for optimal recovery and setting yourself up for your next session. It's precise, actionable, and removes the guesswork.
And how does following these protocols actually help the body, besides just replacing water?
Well, these practical rules are deeply connected to the underlying physiology and performance benefits. Adhering to these protocols helps maintain your plasma volume.
Your blood volume.
Exactly, which is vital for efficient blood circulation and oxygen delivery to your working muscles. It also significantly reduces your perceived level of exertion.
So workouts feel easier.
Or at least less strenuous for the same objective effort, yes.
Yeah.
And it dramatically improves heart rate recovery, allowing your body to bounce back more quickly from exercise stress.
Faster recovery between efforts, too.
Yes. Beyond immediate performance, hydration is also vitally important for muscle recovery. Exercise causes microscopic tears in muscle fibers, and the process of rebuilding and strengthening these muscles, known as protein synthesis,
Building muscle back stronger.
requires your muscles to be well hydrated. If you are dehydrated following an intense workout or an injury, your recovery process slows dramatically, essentially halting the protein synthesis necessary to rebuild and repair those muscles.
So dehydration hinders muscle repair.
Wow, significantly. Hydration also supports your digestive process, as saliva is crucial for breaking down food and absorbing nutrients effectively, which is also part of overall recovery.
Here's where it gets really personalized and fascinating.
Yeah.
Your specific hydration needs are highly individualized.
No single magic number for everyone.
Right. They depend on a complex interplay of factors like your gender, your age, any underlying health issues you might have, the environment you're in, and, of course, your unique activity levels.
So many variables.
Let's delve into those influencing factors, because they drastically change your requirements. Environmental conditions, for example, play a huge role. In hot environments, increased ambient temperature and increased relative humidity are a double whammy.
Makes it harder to cool off.
Exactly. They significantly reduce the effectiveness of heat loss by radiation, conduction, convection, and especially evaporation, which is your body's primary cooling mechanism.
Sweat doesn't evaporate as well when it's humid.
Precisely. This directly necessitates a substantially increased fluid intake due to much higher perspiration levels. But it's not just about the heat. Even in cold environments.
You still lose fluid.
Yes. Significant water and heat loss can occur via the respiratory tract due to the very dry air you're breathing. Think about seeing your breath in the cold.
Right, that's water vapor.
Exactly. This means you must continue to remain diligently hydrated during prolonged exercise in the cold, even if you don't feel sweaty. Colder environments also tend to blunt the thirst sensation.
So you might not realize you need to drink.
Correct. And can paradoxically increase urine output or diuresis as fluids are pulled from your extremities toward your core.
And beyond the environment, exercise intensity and duration are crucial, almost intuitive. The longer and more intensely you work out, the more water and electrolytes you're expending, and thus the more important it is to stay hydrated.
Stands to reason.
High sweat rates can persist for hours during prolonged training sessions and competitions, demanding sustained fluid replacement. Then there's individual physiology. Your body mass matters. Larger individuals may have higher sweat rates simply due to greater metabolic heat production.
Bigger engines produce more heat.
A good analogy. Wearing protective equipment, common in many sports like football or hockey, can significantly decrease evaporative and radiant heat loss, trapping heat and increasing fluid needs.
Like wearing a personal sauna.
Pretty much. Even your body fat level can be a factor, with greater body fat potentially leading to greater challenges with heat dissipation and thus greater potential for heat problems.
That's a lot to consider. What about physiological adaptations your body can make, like heat acclimatization? Does that change anything?
Heat acclimatization is a fascinating and profoundly beneficial physiological adaptation that significantly improves your tolerance to exercising in the heat.
Getting used to the heat.
Exactly. This process typically occurs through gradual daily exposure, usually 2 to 4 hours of daily exposure to a hot environment, allowing your body to adjust within about 10 to 14 days.
It takes a couple of weeks.
Roughly, yes.
Mm.
The benefits are extensive and truly optimize your body's cooling system. You'll experience improved skin blood flow, which helps shunt heat to the surface for dissipation, improved blood distribution, which helps maintain blood pressure despite fluid shifts.
Wow.
You start sweating sooner because your sweat threshold is lowered, and crucially, you sweat more effectively, with a greater distribution of sweat over your body surface involving more sweat glands.
Your body gets smarter about sweating.
It really does. Perhaps one of the most significant adaptations is a decreased loss of salt in your sweat, meaning you conserve vital electrolytes more efficiently.
Holds on to salt better.
Yes. However, it's a use it or lose it adaptation. These benefits can be lost within just 2 to 3 weeks without continued exposure to heat.
So you have to keep up the heat exposure.
Correct. It's also worth noting that regular exercise training itself contributes to a more efficient sweating response. You sweat sooner and more and leads to greater plasma volume, further aiding your body's ability to regulate temperature.
Okay, what about the kids? Do children have different hydration needs or considerations when they're active? It seems like they're always running around.
They absolutely do, and it's a critical area for parents and coaches to be aware of. Our sources indicate that children overheat faster than adults because their thermoregulatory systems are still developing.
More vulnerable to heat.
Yes. So it's important to ensure cold beverages are readily available to them and to frequently remind them to drink, especially in the heat, as their thirst mechanism might not be as finely tuned.
They might not feel thirsty even when they need water.
Correct. They also need more time to acclimatize to hot environments compared to adults. Physiologically, children have a lower sweat rate than adults, but paradoxically, a higher core temperature response to exercise, making them more vulnerable to heat stress.
Lower sweat rate, but higher core temp. Interesting.
It is. Furthermore, they have a different sweat composition than adults. Interestingly, teenagers who are undergoing puberty may sweat out fluid and electrolytes even faster than when they were younger children.
So their needs change again.
Significantly as they grow and mature. It's not a one-size-fits-all, even within childhood.
Fascinating how many variables play a role here. I've also heard about some general gender differences in sweating.
Briefly touching on gender differences, our sources suggest that women tend to have more heat-activated sweat glands across their bodies, but generally, men tend to sweat sooner and produce more overall sweat than women during comparable exercise.
Men sweat more.
Yeah, that's the general finding. Some research also suggests that women may have a lessened chance of dehydration compared to men in certain scenarios and can cool faster due to having a larger surface area relative to their body mass.
Interesting.
However, these are general trends, and individual variability often outweighs these group differences, reinforcing the need for personalized strategies.
Now that we know so much about the science and the protocols, what are some practical, everyday tips to actually stay motivated and disciplined enough to hit those hydration goals?
That's it.
Because knowing something is one thing, consistently doing it is another.
Absolutely. The making it happen part.
Our sources offer some really practical, actionable tips for increasing your daily water intake. Simple habits can make a huge difference. Always carrying a reusable water bottle with you.
Keep it visible.
Whether you're at the office, in the car, or running errands, or simply leaving one at your desk where it's always visible. Using a water tracking app on your phone can provide helpful reminders and accountability.
Gamify your hydration.
Yeah. For those who find plain water a bit boring, adding freshly cut fruit like lemon, cucumber, berries, or mint to your water jug or bottle for a natural flavor infusion can make it much more appealing.
Make it some more interesting.
Setting reminders on your phone or smartwatch can be incredibly effective, acting as little nudges throughout your day. And keeping an easily accessible jug of filtered water in your fridge, perhaps with those fruit infusions, makes it convenient to grab.
Reduce the friction.
Even trying to switch out just one of your daily tea or coffee breaks for a glass of water can contribute significantly to your daily total without feeling like a huge chore.
And from a psychological perspective, especially when working with athletes, a dietitian's advice, or our sources highlight, is to really tap into their competitive spirit.
Use their own drive against them, basically.
In a positive way. Stress to players and clients that if they're not hydrating properly, their performances will suffer, whether it's slower times, reduced strength, or impaired decision-making.
The performance angle.
For competitive individuals, the idea that they're leaving performance on the table is a powerful motivator. Furthermore, the enjoyment of certain beverages can also play a role. Studies have shown that the flavor of sports drinks can cause athletes to drink more than if they were consuming water alone.
So flavor encourages drinking.
Which can be beneficial for increasing overall fluid consumption in those at higher risk of dehydration during prolonged efforts. So finding a hydrating beverage you genuinely enjoy, whether it's flavored water or a carefully selected sports drink, can be a simple yet effective strategy to keep you consistently topping off.
The drink dilemma: water, sports drinks, and the truth about electrolytes.
Now let's tackle what's perhaps the biggest question in hydration. What should you actually be drinking?
Yeah.
It's the classic water versus sports drinks dilemma.
The million-dollar question.
When is which appropriate? And are sports drinks just glorified sugary beverages? Our sources are very clear. For the vast majority of your daily hydration needs and for shorter workouts, specifically those lasting less than an hour,
That's the key threshold.
water is unequivocally the best drink to satisfy thirst and replace fluid loss during exercise. It's natural, it's free, it's readily available, it contains no unnecessary kilojoules or calories, and in many places, it even contains beneficial fluoride.
Can't beat water for simplicity.
For these shorter durations, water remains the gold standard because it's simply more efficient and healthier for hydration.
And it's not just about plain water. Our sources expand on water's versatility, noting that even water-rich fruits and vegetables contain a high proportion of water, so a fruit snack, such as an orange or a slice of watermelon, can also contribute meaningfully to your fluid replacement efforts.
Eat your water.
Exactly. Here's where we can challenge some very common, deeply ingrained myths about other beverages. A fascinating study that compared the hydrating ability of 13 different beverages found surprisingly little difference in the overall hydrating ability of plain water, sports drinks, tea, and even cola. In terms of pure hydration potential over a day, yes. What's truly eye-opening is that even beverages typically considered to be dehydrating, such as coffee and beer, can hydrate the body about as much as water in a daily moderate context.
Mind blown. Coffee hydrates as much as water.
In the bigger picture of daily fluid balance, yes, the fluid volume largely offsets the mild diuretic effect for moderate consumption. Now, let's be very clear. This absolutely doesn't mean you should be chugging cola or beer during intense exercise.
Okay, important clarification.
But it's an important insight to recognize their contribution to your daily fluid requirements in a broader lifestyle context. The key is balance, in choosing the right fluid for the right situation.
So if water is the everyday champion, when do specialized tools like sports drinks, your Gatorades, your Powerades actually become necessary? Are they just fancy sugary drinks, or do they truly serve a real performance-enhancing purpose?
They are indeed specialized tools, designed for very specific situations. Sports drinks contain a combination of carbohydrates, which provide energy, and electrolytes, such as sodium, potassium, and chloride.
Carbs and salts.
Essentially, yes. They are specifically formulated for intense physical activity to help rehydrate you faster and to keep your energy levels up by replenishing glycogen stores.
So, fuel plus hydration.
Correct. However, and this is the crucial guideline from sources like NDSU Agriculture and Better Health Channel, sports drinks are recommended only to enhance your physical performance if you are physically active for more than 60 to 90 minutes.
There's that 60-90 minute window again.
It's a consistent recommendation. For anything less than that duration, water should unequivocally be the drink of choice because it's simply better for hydration without the added sugars. It's also important to note that the higher the amount of carbohydrates in your beverage, the slower the absorption rate can be in your stomach.
Can cause gut issues if it's too sugary.
Potentially, yes. Which is another factor to consider when choosing the right drink for your activity. Too much sugar too quickly can lead to gastrointestinal distress.
That distinction based on duration is really helpful. But what about the elephant in the room? The sugar question. Many people worry about the high sugar content in commercial sports drinks.
It's an entirely valid concern, and our sources confirm it. Commercial sports drinks can indeed be quite high in added sugar, so they should only be consumed, if truly necessary, for intense, prolonged activity.
Otherwise, it's just extra calories.
Unnecessary calories and sugar load, yes. For general hydration or shorter workouts, that added sugar is simply not needed. You can often get similar benefits from other, more nutrient-dense sources like milk.
Milk. Right.
Yes.
Milk naturally contains protein, carbohydrates, and electrolytes like calcium and sodium. It's actually studied quite a bit for post-exercise recovery. Or 100% fruit or vegetable juice, which offers natural sugars and vitamins. And of course, plain water remains paramount.
Okay.
For those who want the benefits of a sports drink without the commercial additives, our sources even provide a surprisingly simple homemade sports drink recipe that's easy to make.
DIY sports drink.
Yeah. You combine 4 tablespoons of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of boiling water to dissolve the sugar and salt, then add 1/4 cup of orange juice or 2 tablespoons of lemon juice for flavor and a touch of natural electrolytes, and finally, 3 3/4 cups of cold water.
Simple ingredients.
It costs much less, doesn't have as many artificial additives, and reportedly tastes just as good, giving you control over the ingredients.
So, we keep hearing about electrolytes as these essential components of sports drinks. What exactly are they, and why are they so profoundly important for our body's function and athletic performance?
Electrolytes are essentially minerals in your body that have an electric charge, and they're found in your blood, urine, tissues, and other body fluids.
Like tiny charged particles.
Exactly. They include familiar names like salt, sodium chloride, potassium, phosphate, calcium, and magnesium. In the context of sports hydration, a dietitian, our sources, quote, emphasizes that we're primarily talking about salt, plain and simple, sodium chloride.
Okay, mostly salt.
Their vital function is to maintain electrolyte balance throughout your body, and this balance maximizes the performance of your body's muscles, organs, and joints. Salt, or sodium specifically, is particularly critical.
Why sodium?
It helps nerves transmit those crucial electrical signals to the muscles of your body, including the most important muscle of all, your heart. It also plays a key role in helping your body absorb nutrients into its cells and maintaining fluid balance.
So, nerve signals, nutrient absorption, fluid balance, pretty important.
Absolutely fundamental.
Yeah.
When you sweat, you lose these essential electrolytes, especially sodium, and this loss can directly affect muscle firing, leading to symptoms like debilitating fatigue, involuntary muscle contractions, and severe cramping.
Ah, the link between salt loss and cramps.
It's a strong link for many people. Interestingly, some advanced water filtration systems, like Flow Water, are now designed to add back essential electrolytes without added sugar, calories, or artificial additives,
So you can get electrolytes in plain water.
providing a clean and convenient source of these vital minerals in everyday water, which is an interesting development.
That's good to know. And does everyone lose the same amount of salt when they sweat? Or is there a lot of individual variability there too?
Not at all. This is another area of significant individual variability. Huge differences.
Okay.
Our sources indicate there can be anywhere from 200 milligrams to a remarkable 2,000 milligrams of salt in each liter of sweat.
Wow. A tenfold difference.
Exactly. And this differs dramatically from person to person. This wide range explains why some athletes are particularly prone to cramping and salt loss.
The salty sweaters?
Precisely. Because of this variability, sources offer general guidelines for choosing sports drinks based on their salt content. For adults, aim for at least 200 milligrams of salt per 16-ounce serving of sports drink, or at least 150 milligrams for a 12-ounce bottle.
Okay, a target range.
For those who are salty sweaters, meaning they see white residue on their skin, or clothes after exercise, or experience frequent cramping, they might need to lean towards the higher end of that range, or consider additional salt intake through food.
We spent a lot of time talking about the dangers of underhydrating, of not getting enough fluids, but what about the danger of too much? Can you actually drink too much water? And if so, what happens then?
This raises a profoundly important and often overlooked question. Yes, you absolutely can drink too much, and it carries its own set of serious risks.
Okay, what's the risk?
There's a lesser-known but equally serious danger called low sodium levels in the blood, medically known as hyponatremia.
Low sodium, hyponatremia, got it.
Its effects range from mild symptoms like decreased performance, confusion, or nausea, to potentially fatal consequences if left uncontrolled and severe.
Wow, fatal from drinking too much water.
In extreme cases, yes. For athletes, the primary cause of what's known as exertional hyponatremia, EHN, is the overconsumption of fluids, especially drinks that are low in sodium.
Drinking too much plain water, basically.
Often, yes. This is drinking in excess of what your body can effectively sweat out or urinate out. Our sources indicate this has actually become more common in recent decades,
Why more common?
partly because the dangers of dehydration were so effectively publicized since the 1980s. This led many athletes to adopt a more is better approach to hydration.
Overcompensating.
Exactly. And to erroneously believe that completely clear pee always signifies good hydration, which isn't always true if you're overdrinking and diluting your system.
Ah, the clear pee myth again.
There is a widespread lack of appreciation that too much fluid intake can be as detrimental for health and performance as too little. It's about balance.
So it's a critical myth to debunk that completely clear urine always equals optimal hydration, especially if it means you're overdrinking pure water and diluting your electrolytes.
Absolutely. Finding that balance is key.
This confusion seems quite widespread. A study on collegiate track and field throwers, for instance, found that a staggering 50.5% erroneously believed that thirst was the best indicator of dehydration, despite what we know.
Still relying on thirst.
And there was evident confusion about sports drinks. Only 41.4% knew they were superior to water for restoring muscle glycogen during prolonged activity, and only 36% indicated consuming sports drinks within 2 hours following exercise, which is a key recovery window.
So, big gaps in knowledge, even among athletes.
This really highlights a significant existing knowledge gap in a population that you'd think would be well-informed.
Indeed, it's a disconnect that needs urgent addressing. Regarding the specific threshold for exertional hypernatremia risk during continuous exercise, a previous analysis provided crucial data.
Okay, what did it find?
It reported no case of symptomatic EHN among 270 athletes who consume less than 750 milliliters of fluid per hour.
So below 750 millihours seems safe in that group.
In that study, yes. Conversely, cases of hyponatremia were consistently associated with individuals who consumed fluids at a rate greater than 700 milliliters per hour, and often, critically, gained weight during their events.
Gained weight during exercise, meaning they drank more than they lost.
Exactly. This weight gain indicates they were taking in more fluid than they were losing through sweat and urine. This research suggests a critical fluid consumption rate threshold for athletes to be mindful of.
Don't just chug endlessly.
Right. It aligns with general recommendations from organizations like the International Marathon Medical Directors Association and ACSM, which typically suggest fluid intake rates between 400 to 800 milliliters per hour, depending on individual sweat rates. It's about finding that sweet spot, not just chugging.
What about the common belief, especially among endurance athletes, that simply taking salt tablets can prevent muscle cramps and hyponatremia? Is there truth to that, or is it another myth?
Salt tablets. While many athletes do consume sodium supplements, often in the form of salt tablets, because they believe it prevents muscle cramps and hyponatremia.
Seems logical. Replace the salt you lose.
It seems logical, but there is surprisingly little strong evidence to support this belief, especially regarding hyponatremia prevention. Studies have shown that sodium supplementation had only a minor, almost negligible influence on serum sodium levels in some cases.
Didn't really change blood sodium much?
Not significantly, no, increasing them by as little as 3 millimoles per liter in one study. The consensus from our sources is that sodium intake, especially through isolated salt tablets, may provide little or no defense against EHN during prolonged exercise, and its effects on serum sodium are often unpredictable.
So they're not a magic bullet.
Not really. The Wilderness Medical Society, for instance, advises consuming sodium and/or salty snacks along with an appropriate fluid volume.
So food sources may be better, pretzels, etc.
Potentially combined with appropriate fluids. But they specifically warn that salt intake should not be combined with overdrinking. In fact, overdrinking increases the risk of EHN despite sodium consumption.
Because the volume still dilutes everything.
Precisely. The sheer volume of water still dilutes the existing sodium. So salt tablets are definitely not a magic bullet and don't give you a free pass to overdrink.
That's a crucial distinction, that even if you're taking salt, overdrinking is still the primary danger. And can overhydrating before exercise be problematic too, setting you up for trouble later?
Yes, absolutely. It can be a significant misstep. Overhydration prior to exercise is known to deliberately lower your serum sodium levels.
Diluting yourself before you even start.
Exactly. Which significantly increases your risk of dilutional hyponatremia if fluids are then aggressively consumed during exercise. You're starting the race with your internal fluid balance already skewed.
That makes sense.
For instance, one notable case involved an athlete who purposefully overhydrated prior to exercise, and they continued to drink aggressively during a treadmill walk, resulting in severe exertional hyponatremia.
Just from walking. Wow.
Yes. The goal is to start exercise in a state of optimal hydration, a balanced state.
Not dehydrated, not overhydrated.
Correct. Not a hyperhydrated or overhydrated one, which can be just as dangerous as dehydration itself.
Deep dive into elite strategies and tailoring hydration for you.
So, given all this nuanced science, what does this mean for elite athletes? Those who truly push their bodies to the absolute extremes.
The top performers.
Our sources emphasize that for elite athletes like collegiate track and field throwers, who can have astonishingly high sweat rates ranging from 0.5 to 3.0 liters per hour.
That huge range again.
Their fluid needs are incredibly variable. This variability is driven by factors like their individual body size, the specific intensity and duration of their exercise, the extreme environment they're competing in, and even the clothing or protective equipment they wear.
Everything we've talked about, amplified.
Consequently, their hydration strategies are often highly individualized, meticulously calculated based on these specific factors, alongside their personal tolerance for fluid intake and their unique sweat composition.
It's a significant challenge to manage, and it really highlights the need for a scientific approach. Strength and conditioning coaches and health staff truly need to educate and closely monitor hydration behaviors in collegiate athletes to optimize performance and prevent serious issues.
You'd expect them to have teams dialing this in.
You would. However, our sources also reveal a fascinating and somewhat concerning disconnect in practice. Elite athletes often rely on anecdotal evidence for their hydration information.
What? Really? Not science.
Sometimes not primarily. They might use trial and error based on their personal history, recommendations from informal running groups or clubs, and perhaps most commonly, advice from friends.
Advice from friends over sports scientists.
What's truly shocking in some studies is that scientific journals, registered dietitians, nutritionists, and running coaches were often rated as the least reliable sources for hydration information by these athletes.
That is shocking. Why?
It's unclear. Maybe accessibility issues, maybe trust issues, maybe the information isn't presented practically. But it presents a considerable challenge for translating cutting-edge scientific knowledge into practical, effective hydration strategies at the elite level, where precision can make or break a career.
Wow. A real need for better knowledge translation.
Definitely. A need for more accessible, trustworthy scientific information tailored for them.
That's a huge revelation, that elite athletes aren't always turning to the scientific community. So then, should a normal person, someone who's not an elite athlete, training for the Olympics, try to do exactly what these elite athletes do with their complex protocols? Is that the takeaway here?
That's an excellent, crucial question, and the answer is generally no.
Okay.
While the fundamental principles of proactive, informed hydration that we've discussed are universal and apply to everyone.
Drink enough. Monitor yourself.
Right. Most people exercising for less than 60 to 90 minutes simply don't need complex sports drink protocols, precise electrolyte calculations, or hourly weigh-ins.
Keep it simple if the workout is shorter.
Exactly. For the average person engaging in a typical gym workout, a moderate run, or a sports game under 90 minutes, water is perfectly sufficient and the best choice. The key for you, the listener, is to apply the principles of understanding your own body's unique responses.
Pay attention to yourself.
Yes. Knowing your sweat rate roughly, recognizing early dehydration signs, listening to your body's subtle cues, rather than blindly attempting to replicate elite protocols that are designed for very specific, high-intensity, prolonged, and often extreme situations.
So learn the why, not just copy the what.
Precisely. It's about being informed and adjusting to your individual needs, not trying to clone an elite athlete's routine.
You mentioned earlier how crucial hydration is for recovery and even injury prevention. Can we revisit that?
Yes, absolutely. Beyond immediate performance, proper hydration is directly and intimately linked to recovery and injury prevention. Our sources state unequivocally that dehydration weakens muscles and makes them inflamed and fatigued,
Making them more vulnerable.
significantly contributes to an increased risk of injury. When your muscles are tight, less pliable, and under strain due to lack of fluid, they are simply more susceptible to tears, strains, and pulls.
Makes sense. Like dry rubber bands snapping.
Good analogy. Staying adequately hydrated can help reduce muscle fatigue and dramatically decrease the risk of injury by maintaining muscle elasticity and joint lubrication. Furthermore, muscle protein synthesis.
Repairing and rebuilding muscle.
That vital process where your body repairs and rebuilds muscle tissue after exercise absolutely requires your muscles to be hydrated. Think of it like building a brick wall. You need cement, you need water to mix it.
Can't build without water.
If you are dehydrated following an intense workout, or even worse, if you're injured, your recovery process slows dramatically and essentially halts the protein synthesis necessary to rebuild and repair those damaged muscles.
So being dehydrated actively stops muscle repair.
It significantly hinders it, yes. Hydration also supports your digestive process, which is critical for absorbing the nutrients needed for recovery, and it enhances overall recovery by improving heart rate recovery.
Getting back to normal faster.
Meaning your body returns to a resting state more quickly and efficiently after exercise stress when adequately hydrated.
So what's the ultimate takeaway here?
Yeah.
It sounds like while there are general guidelines, understanding and experimenting with your unique body is paramount.
That's exactly it. We've seen that while robust general guidelines exist, your personal hydration needs are truly unique and influenced by a complex web of factors.
Environment, Intensity, duration, your own body.
All of it. Our sources strongly encourage experimentation with various rehydration options and strategies during your regular training sessions before you ever try them in a high-stakes competition or a new, challenging, hot environment.
Practice your hydration plan like you practice your sport.
Beautifully put. This informed trial and error approach, guided by the knowledge we've shared today, is the ultimate key to personalized and optimal hydration.
Can you quickly recap those factors that make our needs so unique?
Sure. To reiterate, your hydration status and its impact on your performance are influenced by a complex interplay of many factors. The precise volume of sweat you lose, the volume of fluid you actually consume, the intensity and duration of your exercise, the specific environmental conditions you're in, like temperature, humidity, wind, and solar radiation, and even your individual physiological factors.
Age, size.
Yes, age, sex, overall body size, body fat percentage, whether you're wearing protective equipment, your level of heat acclimatization, your aerobic capacity, and even for women, your menstrual cycle. And let's not forget dietary sodium intake.
Wow, that's a long list.
It is. This intricate web means there can be truly vast differences among athletes and among individuals in general in how their body weight and serum sodium levels change during exercise, reinforcing the critical need for personalized strategies rather than a one-size-fits-all approach.
So you really have to become a detective of your own body's signals.
That's the goal, an informed detective.
So to wrap this up, the call to action is abundantly clear. Be proactive about your hydration.
Don't leave it to chance.
Staying hydrated is far more than just a passing health tip. It's a fundamental cornerstone of athletic performance, overall well-being, and even long-term health. Proper hydration doesn't just help you perform at your absolute best in the moment.
Oh, it definitely does that.
It also plays a vital, protective role in preventing injuries, aiding recovery, and maintaining your cognitive sharpness. Stay proactive about understanding and meeting your personal hydration needs, and your body will unequivocally thank you with improved performance, enhanced resilience, and a greater overall sense of vitality.
And maybe to leave you with a final thought. This deep dive truly raises an important final question for each of you. Given the unique and often surprising ways our individual bodies respond to activity and environment, what one small, personalized hydration experiment will you commit to trying in your next workout, or perhaps over the coming week?
Like trying the pre-way post-way, or timing sips differently.
Exactly, something specific to you. And just as importantly, how will you objectively measure its impact on your performance, your recovery, or simply how you feel? Remember, it's about more than just mindlessly drinking water. It's about actively listening to your body, understanding its signals, and optimizing your hydration for your best self, day in and day out.
What a deep dive. We've uncovered so many fascinating and critical layers of how hydration truly impacts every single facet of your physical and mental performance, from the deep workings of your heart and muscles to the clarity of your very thoughts.
It really touches everything.
We truly hope this has armed you with valuable insights and actionable steps. That's it for this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay hydrated, and keep thriving.